Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Small Town Johnstown. If you see behind us, we are in a brand new setting for this episode. If you're just listening,
We moved. We have a house. We are actually homeowners.
homeowners, can you believe that? In 2024, at our age, in this economy,
In this economy with, I would say, the average paying jobs, about
pretty
nowadays,
average.
pretty average.
For this area, yeah, very average paying
I would say it
jobs.
might be a little bit more above for this area. There's still like fast food places that pay like $9 to
With,
$8
with
an
my
hour.
education and my genius, I should be making millions right now. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Some of us know how to put a window cover up.
Listen, we won't talk about that for this episode. Lawn moments, it's the highlights I got in my hair.
But we are officially house owners.
Woo! Round of applause for the audience we do not have yet.
It was a process. There were times where we did not think that we would be able to get in a house this quick, this early. We definitely did not think we had enough funds to find a house, but thankfully we had great people to help us along the way and achieve this goal of ours to get a house.
Yeah, I would say you definitely need a little bit of money, a little bit of knowledge, but most importantly, you need people to help you through the process. Because if you don't know what you're doing, it's going to be hard. There's a lot to it. There's a lot of hoops to jump through. But unlike a lot of people our age, that think it's not possible, very much is. It's an achievable goal, and we did it in what, like a month or two?
Yeah, I would say about a month. It's an achievable goal, but we're not living in like a city.
Yeah.
We're not living in a big, like, it depends on what your values are and what you value for a house is. You have to really sit down, I feel like, and kind of plan it out before you even start to look for a house.
Yeah, there's a lot of steps to the process, and that's kind of why we wanted to talk about that in this episode, because we're very privileged to live in Johnstown just for the fact it is affordable to live. They say the average home price in 2024 is like $400,000. That's like on the very, very steep end around here, I would say.
Yeah, that's you're buying a mansion on the 400,000
For sure,
area.
for sure.
There's definitely some good yardage and fence, house, rooms, everything.
Yeah, the in-ground pool in the back, like you're getting real bougie.
You're getting real bougie. So for us, we had an unfortunate event happen to where one day we were going to Pittsburgh and we got rammed in the back. Well, I got rammed in the back with my car and it got declared totaled. So we got about a good chunk of money from the
what
car.
was left to pay on the car, essentially, you got
pretty much
back.
what was left, or what I paid in the car, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the two. It was like half paid off, so
Yeah, it's like half paid. It's whatever.
Yeah.
So like half paid off plus the value of what's half, and so they valued the car at 19,000, 20,000, 22,000, something like that.
I don't know.
And,
It wasn't my car.
There was like, I would say 10 to 11,000 still left on it. So they paid off the bank that I owed because I took out a loan, and then they gave me what was left of the value of the car. Was around about 9,900, and we were thinking either to put it in another car, down for another car, because we need a car for transportation. But my mother popped an idea. I'm not gonna lie, she definitely popped an idea and said, "Why don't you take that money that you have and put it into a house?" There's houses going on the market now, and you can definitely have enough currently for how the house market is, with enough for a down payment to put money down for a house. And we were going back and forth between living here, living in Pittsburgh, because of my school and just more maybe job opportunities for you, because even though we do promote small towns, there's still a limitation to what living in a small town can do for you and your brand and where you want to go career-wise. That's why we're trying to change the image of, that's one of the reasons why we started this podcast. Am I rambling too long?
No.
Okay. Then we decided we did not like taking that trip to Pittsburgh because of the incident. We might got a little afraid, little
It was
PST.
traumatizing.
It was traumatized, especially for me being. It's like the second time.
The same exact accident had happened to you.
And I mean, it's just people. It's not my fault.
It's construction.
It's construction. I didn't hit the car in front of me, but another day for another story. And so we decided, to why not try and get a house. We were living in an apartment at the time. Great apartment. We loved the apartment. It's just we had huge windows. It was boosting up that electrical bill for you, $400 a month in the summer.
I know, lucky me.
And we have 2 pets that our apartment complex may or may not didn't know was living there, and we wanted them to have a yard. We didn't want them to be cooped up in the apartment all day when we're at work. We didn't want to have to just only take them out on walks. I mean, yes, that is a healthier option to give us a reason to get out of the house and move around and get some steps in, but it was also just a very, it became like a daunting thing, especially when you're trying to do go to the gym, maybe do some other stuff, and it's like, crap, we got to go home and take out these dogs real quick and walk them around for at least 10-15 minutes, and they got to find their perfect little spot because they're dogs. And we just really wanted a yard, and we're like, I think it's time to start looking for a house. Yes, it's Johnstown, but let's keep going with this podcast. Let's keep seeing where this podcast lands. Let's keep trying to make a change and build some roots in this small town. Preach what you sell.
Yeah, to kind of condense your main points. We definitely had to work with a lot of bad situations. Pittsburgh wasn't working out for us. Renting wasn't working out for us because we wanted to move to a house with a yard. And like we talked about previously, no landlords in Johnstown really like animals.
Yeah, they don't like pets.
So we kind of ran out of options, and we were like, well, now that we have all this money, maybe we could get a house. And so with your mom's help and the help of our realtor,
Brooks
Lore with Bob Colvin.
Yeah, the Bob Colvin team on RE/MAX.
Yes.
And with the help with our Rocket Mortgage agent. I'll say agent, right?
Agent or guy. Grant.
Grant. Kravitz.
Like Lenny Kravitz.
Like Lenny Kravitz. Yeah. Great guy. Funny. Great to talk to. Really broke it down. And we have to give the biggest shout out to my mom.
Absolutely.
She made
Mama
sure.
Tina was crazy with
Mama
it.
Quayo was definitely making sure that we didn't settle for overpaying for a house that
Yeah, she would have no crap for real. She was looking for all the things that we probably would not have thought to look for.
And it's asking questions that maybe we might not have thought of, being first-time home buyers.
Seriously, yeah.
And I would say, so, speaking on that, I mean, I guess we can get into it a little bit later down the road, but if you are first-time home buyers, I definitely would recommend maybe checking out Rocket Mortgage. I know they haven't got the greatest reputation, but they did put 2% down on our 5% that we're able to put on for the closing costs, so it definitely did help us maybe reach a little bit higher on a house that we might not have been able to afford otherwise with the down payments and stuff like that. So they're definitely worth checking out. Also, check out a local banker or whatever too, but we probably wouldn't be able to get the house that we got without Rocket Mortgage and Grant and Brooks and all them.
It definitely made it easier than I think a lot of local banks would have been. But I don't know. I can only speak for Rocket Mortgage, considering that's the only people we used.
It's the only people we used. So do you want to kind of break down? So this is what me and Jenny kind of broke down to what we think is important to maybe look for when buying homes, if you're looking to buy a home, or even maybe take some of this advice for apartment finding.
Yeah, more than anything, remember it's not impossible, but there are some key things that you do have to have that are kind of non-negotiable.
I also shout out to your mother, by the way, for letting us lend her car for the process of not having a car.
Yeah, if we didn't have a car, we didn't have Mama, we didn't have a car, we'd be SOL.
Our mothers,
because we need to get around, get to work somehow. So
yeah, our mothers were a big help in this process of moving and finding a house.
Yeah.
And now it's my stepdad's job to make sure this house is up to the standards that
he's gonna be doing all the updates in here.
All the standards that we have from living in houses.
Yes.
Before
we have expensive taste.
Expensive. Well, apparently we didn't, but now we do.
Now we do.
Thanks to the bougie. So these are some, I would say, things to advice to give to you guys to look forward to when if you are having that process of looking for to buy a house.
Some needs, some non-negotiable kind of things. Yeah.
Do you want to start off?
Yeah, so you definitely have to have a decent credit score. It doesn't have to be amazing. Somewhere in the 600s, preferably. If it's any lower,
I would say the 660s and above.
Yeah, but anything lower than 600 is definitely going to be very, very difficult. So work on boosting your credit score. There's lots of ways to do that. Get a credit card, get a secure credit card, then you can't spend more than what you have saved in that account.
Just don't spend all you have in that account and then expect to pay it off at the end of the month, and then it boosts your credit. Kind of keep it, always have money in there, say by what,
Yeah, so if
300?
so before we get too into the secure credit card, make sure that you don't use your entire credit limit no matter what card you have. Try to stick to using around 10 to 20% of what your credit limit is so that your score goes up. Whether you pay it off or not, don't use your whole credit limit.
Because it will, it was maybe a slight bump in our road when we were looking for our houses, or that starting the process of looking for
But we
houses.
figured it out. We figured out the credit scores. It's not impossible. Just one
It just
step
takes
at
some
a time.
I mean, looking for a whole house is a whole process in itself. So boosting that credit score up before you even call Rocket Mortgage is not the most. It might take a couple months, just a couple of notches that you might need.
Mm-hmm.
Another would be to have a full-time job. At least pays 15. I would say about 15 an hour.
No, I mean, just say you work full time. If you make less than 15 or, whatever it is, minimum wage, you'll just get approved for probably a
Lower.
smaller loan.
Yeah.
So as long as you work full time and have steady income, even if it's not full time, if you have 2 or 3 part times and work somewhere around 40 hours a week, I would say it's decent enough to get approved because you have a steady flow of income.
Yes, and you do not have to have the same job or the same field for 2 years. You just have to have 2 years of employment in a row.
So even that's not entirely true because I started working in February 2023, and before that I had not worked since July. So you don't need to have even worked for 2 years consistently. You just have to have some kind of 2-year work history.
Well, I even remember Grant, or the chick that filled in for Grant, saying that if you just have a job offer that you accepted, saying that you are going to work there full time for a yada 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 amount, some yada 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 hours, then that they would even accept that. So they are trying to push people into buying houses.
Yeah, they want people to buy houses. It's still a process for sure, but you don't have to have been at your company for 2, 3, 10 years, whatever. You just need to have some kind of job with some kind of consistent income, really.
Yeah, but definitely makes it a lot easier if it's full time.
Yeah.
This makes it a lot easier because when they just did me and it was part time, I think I qualified for $40K less of what you qualified for.
Yeah, you definitely, full-time is helpful, but if you've been unemployed at any time in the past 2 years, that doesn't necessarily mean you can't buy a home.
True.
So you do need some kind of money for a down payment. However, you do not need 10, 20, 30, whatever percent that they used to require. You only need 1%. Or 2 or 3%. So with Rocket, they were willing to put down 2, so you could either put down 1 or 3. I think we put down 3, but 1%, a few $1,000s, is way different than $20, $30, $100,000 for a house. So that makes it a lot easier for the common folk, the lower class, to buy a house when you don't need a huge chunk of money for a down payment.
But it does help if you can put more down the closing costs than not, per se, because we lost out to a couple of houses because they decided to put more down. Like that one guy who put $50K down on that one house.
You might lose to some older, more frugal members of society who have a big wad of cash, stashed under their mattress.
Frugal?
Frugal. You don't know what that word means?
I never heard you use that before in my life.
I have such a large vocabulary. We've just scratched the surface.
You
of
just
the
be
words I
dropping
know.
words every now and then.
Yeah.
I feel like
See
saying
if you're
this
paying
word now.
attention.
Frugal.
Frugal.
What does that mean?
What's
Like
the
fragile?
definition? Frugal.
I don't know what frugal means.
It's like stingy, basically. Like people like.
Okay.
That's how rich people get rich, is that they don't spend any of their money,
Yeah,
so they're like frugal.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Moving on.
So
Step one.
Yeah, step one after step 0, which is kind of getting some money, getting a credit score,
It's preparing
preparing, getting
to
a job.
start to look
Yeah.
for houses and stuff. It's setting yourself up for success and an easier, way less bumpy path roads to
Bumpy path roads.
to just starting to even like and save houses. So step one. Now they're not the only house place, but they're just the ones that we went through to look for available houses. Is Zillow. Now,
Zillow and Realtor, I think, are the best ones.
yeah, well, I mean, their website was choppy, but
Well, Remax doesn't have every single
Yeah, that's true.
house.
Yeah, but we went through Zillow. You know, start scrolling through Zillow, start getting an idea of what you like and don't like, and again, what I said before when I was rambling, what you value and don't value, what's important.
And you might not know right away. You might not think about little things like the size of your yard, how many bathrooms, where the outlets are placed, or what have you, whether you're doing gas or oil. Like a bunch of little things you might not think about immediately. A deck.
Whether you're on a hill.
If you're on a hill or not. Are
You
you
definitely
in the
learn
suburbs?
the hard way.
Yeah. There's lots to learn, but you'll start to get a feel for what you like or do not like so much if you are at least browsing on Zillow or Realtor.
Jay and I thought that we could make one bathroom last, but it's starting to find out that we should have looked for a second one.
we're not bougie enough for a second bathroom just yet.
We just have so much bathroom stuff. It's hard to fit it in that bathroom that we have.
We have so much stuff. We downsized from like 1,000, 1,200 square feet to like 800. This is a very tiny house.
It's an adjustment, but we love the house. It's just an adjustment from what we had. We also have a basement, an attic that we just have to eventually put stuff in.
We gotta finish this attic. It's huge.
It's huge, and we need to put an AC up in there because it's hot.
And it's a ladder. There's no stairs to the attic, so it makes a little...
It's a work in progress.
There's a lot to be done.
All right. So once you find out what's on the market, or at least browsing and kind of understanding what you can and can't afford, what's another step that you might be able to look for?
So if you're looking in different neighborhoods, places like Moxham, Dale, the West End are definitely cheaper and more affordable.
For reasons.
Yeah, I mean, people don't love those neighborhoods, but I don't think that you should shy away from a neighborhood because of what your friend or someone says about it. Until you actually walk around, experience it, meet people who actually live there. I wouldn't entirely rule out the more affordable areas to live.
Mm-hmm.
Because Westmont is nice, but the taxes there are astronomically high, and there are other nice areas of the town to look at for sure.
Yes, that is something that you have to look into is, are you able to afford the taxes? Because yes, you might be able to afford a down payment for the house or even buy the house. If they got $3,000 taxes,
that's an additional $3,000 a year you're paying on top of your mortgage. So it's something to think about
and it's for
later in the process.
It's for stuff that you might not even be valued, like for just being in that school district. It's just more expensive, and we don't have kids. We're not gonna have kids for a minute. So if we do, and we don't care about the school district.
Yeah, that's not important to us right now. So.
I mean, you just kind of see what, if you have pets, dogs, you want a yard. Maybe some people don't have dogs, don't have kids. They don't need that big of a yard.
If you want a huge house
storage.
and no yard, you can certainly get that too.
I feel like the more you scroll, the more you look at, see what's available, the more you sit down and really process the whole process. Yes, process. My vocabulary is not as frugal as
What?
yours.
Okay, that does not mean what you think it means.
I know. Jacksonville Jaguars.
What?
That's what you sound like for a second.
No, it's from The Princess Bride. You keep using that word. I do not think it means what you think it means.
I don't think I ever watched The Princess Bride.
Oh my gosh, gotta watch.
So that was Audrey the Giant?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What word did they use?
Huh?
What word was he using?
Inconceivable. We have to watch it.
So, after you browse the neighborhood and you kind of find out what area you feel comfortable living in and the people you feel comfortable living around, your neighbors, you really got to break down how big of a house you want. Do you even want a yard? If you don't have any pets or kids, do you even care for a yard? Maybe it's cool with a small yard and a bigger house or a bigger driveway, bigger garage, stuff for your workout equipment or
Yeah, and
paintings.
how close are you to neighbors? Because that's something that I think is, it's hard to figure out what your neighbors are like until you move into the house.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have bad neighbors, it's the same thing as if you have bad coworkers. That can make or break kind of where you
thankfully
live.
we have really good neighbors that we like. They're very friendly and kindly, and they're very friendly and kindly to our pets. I don't know what it would be like if we had neighbors that weren't so kind.
Yeah, they're complaining about dogs. Our area is so dog friendly. Like, we got so lucky.
Yeah, we got very lucky.
Everyone loves dogs, and
Everyone has dogs.
It's so wonderful.
Yeah, we were very lucky.
We don't have a Karen next door. Get your dogs to shut up. Take them inside.
Yeah, we live farther out from like traffic and stuff, so we don't have to worry about like a main road or the cops or anything.
Yeah, not the cops, not the police.
Popo. It's a quiet area, which is nice, you know.
And the last thing I think you should look at if you're browsing Zillow or Realtor is the prices of the houses. How much are they compared to the houses around them? And how long have they been on the market? If they're asking $300,000 and the house has been on the market for a year, they should probably lower that price, I think.
Yeah, don't just do what the seller wants because he's asking for it. If it's on the market for a year, it means nobody's really putting a bid that's worth $300,000. So maybe it's not worth $300,000, but it does need some fixing uppings.
Fixer-uppings.
Fixing uppings.
You know how long our house was on the market before we came to look at it?
An hour.
Not even. Like, the minute it was posted, we're going to look at this house.
My mom was like, all or nothing. Nobody else sees this house.
Yeah, let's go. Putting an offer in.
Put it on.
We'll get into that, though.
All right, step 2, finding a realtor. We got blessed by finding Brooks. He was very honest.
Blessed by Brooks.
Blessed by Brooks, even though he's a Michigan fan. But can't really trust Michigan people. They got caught for cheating. The cheaters. All right.
So if the team that your realtor cheers for was to affect their ability to sell you a house in any way, I guess know that Brooks is a Michigan fan, because that's important.
But thankfully he's not a Michigan man, so.
Okay. Fans, yes. Mans, no.
He didn't go to school there. I mean, I didn't go to school at Ohio State.
Well, he's from here, so
yeah, he's from
he
here.
definitely knows Johnstown better than most realtors would, yeah.
But he was very honest. He was a very good realtor. He kept it to us honestly about like how he was feeling about a house that we were looking at. There was a couple where he's like, I don't really think this is worth the price that they're asking for. I wouldn't buy this house if it was me. And I like that he kept it very honest. And I like that he answered questions that me or you or my mother may have asked to the best of his ability, honestly, wise that he could.
Yeah. No, he was definitely very honest, because I believe realtors so they split like 5% of the sale price between the selling and then the buying agent. So he is going to make money off of us at some point at the end of the day. But there was something he saw that was concerning. He wasn't afraid to be like, I would pass on this one personally.
Yeah, make sure that your realtor is just representing you and not the sellers too, because that in its own little package can get kind of sketchy in the houses that they look for. So make sure that your realtor is really just representing you when it comes to at the end of the day. thankfully we have that type of realtor from the start, so we don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
I mean, I know your sister, when she was looking for houses, kind of...
She did not vibe with her realtor
She
at
did not
all.
vibe with her realtor.
And I cannot recommend Brooks enough.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me wonder if this experience would have been like significantly more difficult if we had a different realtor.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, because we wouldn't have known what to look for, and he would have just had us buy the most expensive house.
Yeah. And we made him drive to so many different houses.
But he was a crazy driver. He backed in some sketchy ass parking spots.
He parked in all the driveways. I'm like, I would not have parked there.
Backing it up and everything. I'm like, Brooks, you got some. Hey, you're a good driver. I remember, but yeah. So if you're finding a realtor that you feel like you can be friends with and that you feel like you can have an honest conversation with when you're buying a house that you're looking at, it's definitely a huge plus.
But we can't be friends because you like Ohio and he is a Michigan fan.
Well, you can be friends, just when the teams play.
Comrades.
Comrades. When the teams play, you just talk some crap afterwards.
Oh my gosh.
Can't let sports damper friendship.
I know, right?
Just let it damper your mood for a little bit.
Well, I guess that's fine.
Alright, moving on.
So I don't know what we did first, if we found a realtor or then a lender, or lender and then a realtor.
So I remember that guy that my mom sent his card. I reached out to him, and then he sent me to Brooks. So we got the realtor first, and then Brooks said you have to find. He said message the one local bank, but
then your mom was like, just try
Rocket because
Mortgage.
they
Okay.
help. Yeah.
So you can do either one. I mean, there's numerous options. I'm sure anyone is willing to put you in debt for a home. It's a hefty loan.
Unless you got good credit.
Yes. So they will look at your credit, your employment, your savings, all of that good stuff. But once you get in contact and finally decide a lender, they will also look at all your bank statements.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure you're not doing anything sketchy with your money because they will see all of it.
Do not cash out a Chase Bank cash.
Don't do the Chase Bank glitch.
Don't do the Chase Bank.
They'll see that. You'll be denied so fast.
I wouldn't think you'll still have a bank to even be able to do this.
You will never have a bank account again.
You will never own a home.
But they will pre-qualify you for the max loan possible that they can give you based on the factors we just listed.
Yeah, so make sure you do have that stuff kind of prepared. Like we said, the more prepared you are willing to give them stuff, the easier and smoother the whole process was. Because I remember they said herself, like, this was a very smooth and easy process because we had people to kind of prepare us for what they need, and hey, they may need this stuff, kind of give us a heads up so we're able to get it or find a way to get it in a timely manner because I remember we put a bid in for the house and literally got it in 2 weeks later. Whole closing process, so it is possible to get it done quickly too if you have the right people.
You just got to be on top of it. All the paperwork, all the hoops, like I said, just jump through.
We are going to call this a part 1 for a 2-part episode since how long the podcast is. So this is the ending of part 1 of the Small Town Johnstown announcement episode that we are officially home buyers. And part 2 will be posted next week. Thank you for tuning into part 1. Yeah, this ran a bit longer than we expected, but stay tuned for next week because I think this is probably my favorite episode. Yeah, same. Wow, I hope it is.